Good afternoon to all. I'll take Anisha's advice and be behind the podium because I'm hardly a public speaker. My topic for the day is yoga and learning. So let's see, what is the effect of yoga on learning? Be at any stage of life, yoga does have a positive impact on learning. There are several social and emotional aspects of learning like empathy, managing feelings, self-awareness, social skills, communication, creative thinking, evaluation, problem solving, etc. Actually, yoga positively impacts anything and everything what your left and right brain is capable of. So for a brief understanding for the day, we will look into 4 aspects of learning. One is memory, concentration, creative thinking, and discriminative power. But before going into that, I think I need to tell you a brief on what yoga is. I'm sure that most of you are aware of yoga, but whenever I take a class, who comes first, I always ask them, what is yoga for you? The answers I get are very different. Like some say that yoga is asana, some say it's a form of exercise with breathing, some say it's meditation, pranayama, something to increase flexibility, relaxation, so on. The list goes on actually. But yoga is actually a spiritual path. I'm sure most of you are aware of it, but there are basic 4 aspects of yoga, basically 4 types of yoga. This spiritual path, where does it lead to? This spiritual path leads to self-realization. There are mainly 4 parts of yoga. One is bhakti yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga, and raja yoga. The terms might be very new for all of you, but I'll just give you a brief what it is. The paths are very different, but it all leads to self-realization. You understand what you are, you look inward. That is the goal of yoga. The first is bhakti yoga, the path of complete surrender. You totally surrender to the reality. We have so many examples around like Pundanam, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Mirabai. They were all into bhakti yoga. They self-realized through the path of bhakti. Next one is karma yoga. As the word says, karma is action. So what is the difference here? We all work. But for a karma yogi, he is not worried about the fruits of the action. Maybe it sounds too theoretical for you, but it does happen around. And people work like that and attain self-realization. We have a closer example of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. And the next one is jnana yoga. It is a path of intellect. You go on inquiring, questioning until you find the basic essence of life. That is jnana. And the last one is raja yoga. That is the path of willpower. It is all about constant practice. In raja yoga is where the asanas, pranayama, meditation and all comes. Why willpower? Because it needs constant practice. And the best example we have in front of us is Swami Vivekananda. He was a Raja Yogi. I'll tell you a brief about Raja Yoga because that is what we are familiar with. Raja Yoga was propounded by sage Patanjali. I'm sure all of you would have heard the name Patanjali. Okay. One of the main definitions of yoga given by Patanjali is Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Chitta means mind. Vritti is modification. Nirodha is control. So what do? You control your modifications of your mind. What happens? You gain mastery over your mind, and then you are said to be in yoga. This is totally a spiritual side of it. But for our context here, while the central theme of yoga remains the highest goal of spiritual path, yogic practices give direct and tangible benefits to everyone regardless of their spiritual aims. That is where yoga therapy comes in. What does yoga therapy do? Yoga therapy gives physical and mental cleansing and strengthening, and that is one of the main achievements of yoga. Physical and mental cleansing and strengthening. That is one main achievements of yoga. According to medical scientists, yoga therapy is successful because the balance it creates in the nervous system and the endocrine system, so that all other systems of your body is working perfectly, and even all the organs. That is how yoga therapy works. Let me just take you through the few tools of yoga therapy. Most of it you are aware of. First is asana. Second is pranayama. Third is kriya. I don't know whether you're familiar with it, kriya. Then bandhas and mudras. Chanting you're familiar with. And diet and meditation. Asanas are nothing but postures, any physical posture. But most of the people think yoga means a difficult posture which you can never do. It is not like that. It should be a basic, simple posture. There you need to stay in that posture, breathe nicely, full focus on your body and breath. That is what asana is all about. And what does it give you? It gives a correct alignment for your body. It corrects your posture, and most of the asanas you see around are inspired from nature. There are so many from birds, from trees. So about gurus also, in the name of gurus also, there are so many asanas. The next one is pranayama. Prana means vital energy. Pranayama is controlling breath for our physical benefit, mental benefit, and therapeutic benefit. But how does pranayama work? In pranayama, we either increase the speed of breathing, or slow down the breath, or stop the breath, or even hold it. These are done in permutations and combinations. So how does it affect our body? When we do pranayama, the nervous system is relaxed. When the nervous system is relaxed, your mind is calm. So with a calm mind, you're more connected, composed, intuitive, creative, and you have the healing power. And the next one is kriya. Kriya basically means cleansing techniques. There are 6 basic cleansing techniques in yoga. I'm not going into the detail. These are our techniques, some you would have heard, basically for your eyes, your nasal region, your alimentary tract. You actually drink hot saline water and induce vomiting, basically cleansing of your body for physical and therapeutical benefits. That is kriya. Then is bandhas and mudras. I'm sure you would have seen posters like this. This is called a mudra. And you actually manipulate your fingers to lock the energy. Usually in our body, we lose energy through the extremities. So with mudra, you lock it so that that energy can be rediverted to respective places for physical and therapeutical benefits. Then the next is chanting. When I say chanting, most of the people have this religious feel. It is not at all like that. Yoga has no religion. It could be like chanting of any sounds like akara, ukara, or omkara, or any hymns. Anything can be chanting. But the basic essence about chanting is it creates vibration. And what happens with these vibrations? The resonance happens. Each and every cell of your body starts resonating. When it starts resonating, cleansing happens, stimulation happens, and you get all the benefits. That is how chanting works. The next is diet. In yogic text, it's clearly mentioned how a yogi's diet should be. I'll just mention one part of it, which is mittahara, which means whenever you eat, you should, after eating, your stomach should be half filled with solids, 1/4 with liquid, and the other 1/4 should be empty. That is how you should be eating. That is what yoga says. And the last one is meditation. In meditation, what I found is most of the people feel meditation is focusing on something. But it is just the opposite. Actually, meditation is totally defocusing. Maybe you start to meditate thinking of your breath, or this point, or even the sun, or a pen in your hand, anything. Maybe you start meditating like that. But when you are in meditation, you actually become one with that object. So you no longer are focusing. You are totally defocusing. So that meditation is total defocusing. So now let's come to our topic of learning. We said we will talk about memory and concentration. For memory and concentration, what do we need? We need alive and active brain cells. So how does yoga help? Whenever you are doing yoga, it increases the blood supply, it increases the oxygen supply to the particular parts of the brain. So when you say about concentration, the frontal lobe is involved in that. So when you do certain postures, certain meditation, or certain pranayama, that frontal lobe is stimulated. Thereby, you have more concentration and focus. And even for that matter, memory also. We have different kinds of memory. Like for example, memory acquisition is from hippocampus. The active memory is from the prefrontal lobe. So all these parts of the brain are being stimulated when we do all the combinations of these yogic tools. And the next one is creativity. In today's world, we are actually focusing more on the left brain. The logic works more. Most of the time, the right side is being discarded. The right side is the seat of emotions and creativity. So we need to actually stimulate the right side of our brain more. How do we do this? I can just give you a simple example of a pranayama, which is called Chandra and Loma Viloma Pranayama, in which you close your right nostril and breathe through your left nostril. You keep on doing it, your body becomes cooler, and indirectly or directly it affects your right brain. Right brain is being stimulated. So there are so many combinations like that which can be done. It directly helps you in being more creative. And the last one is discriminative power. It arises from the clarity of thought. What do you need for discriminative power? You need clarity of thought, and you need a balance. So for that, we need to correctly balance our right and left side of the brains. Yoga really helps in that. So all these aspects, if you see, basically the nervous system and the brain is what helps, even the endocrine system. So most of the yoga techniques focuses on all this and helps in learning. So, and one example which I would say is that we have seen the old punishment of etam, ethada parele. In that, the teachers used to give this because it is basically to stimulate memory. How does it work? When you go down, the blood supply to the brain increases. When you cross your hands like this, your left side and the right side of the brain is balanced. And the third one is, when you hold your pressure point on the ear lobes, your memory is directly stimulated. So that is how yoga works. This is one simple example. So to sum it up, in this respect, yoga is far from simply being physical exercise. It is an aid to establishing a new perception of what is real, what is necessary, and how to become established in a way of life which embraces both inner and outer realities. This way of life is an experience which cannot be understood intellectually and which only become living knowledge through practice and experience. So I humbly request all of you to be a part of this yogic renaissance. Thank you.